Achtung Panzer! That would be the theme for update 5.5. We're going to take a look today at the VK100.01, the new tier 10 German heavy tank, and some of the tech tree changes that will happen in update 5.5. So sit back and enjoy the show. Yes, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, tankers of Blitz Universe, to the channel. My name is martindogger, and today we are going to take a look at the changes in World of Tanks Blitz in update 5.5 using the open test server. And that means that nothing here is completely finalized. Some things might change, but from experience I know that a lot of this here will go through into the game proper. So yeah, this you could call this a proper 5.5 preview. And stars of the show are these three tanks: the VK100.01, the Little Mouse, the Mäuschen, and the VK72.01. Full look on those in terms of armor profile and a little bit of gameplay will follow at the end of the video. But before we dive into that, I want to talk you through the main thing of update 5.5. These are the stars of the show, but the core business is in fact the change in terms of the tech tree. So let's dive straight in and see how you can get the VK72.01. And if you look at the newish German tech tree, you can see it has been changed in tiers 1, 3, 4, 5 and a little bit in 6 as well. But the main thing to know is that you can get the 100.01 from the Tiger P, then you go to the Mäuschen, and from the Mäuschen you can go to the Mars, which may seem a bit strange, but if you go from the Tiger P to the VK4502A, you can go to the O2B and then to the 72.01. And the 01K has, this in terms of protection, this gun there, 15 cm Kampfwagenkanone L38, 640 Alpha gun, looks fairly familiar, and anybody who has been playing Blitz for a certain while knows that that's the big gun from the E100. So you have another derpy tier 10 heavy tank, which is fun, which is good. But like I said, there have been changes in the tech tree as well. We're taking a full look at the VK, don't worry about that. But you can already see that there are a lot of changes in the tech tree. Why is that? Wargaming wants to make the game more enjoyable for new players, which means that they have changed the tech tree and that you only have to start choosing your tank lines at tier 4. And even then it's usually 2 choices, maybe 3, depending on how big the tech tree is. But you can see it is a lot simpler in that regard. The small tech trees of the Japanese and Chinese army, they are really simple. I mean, Japan only has a mediums line, which isn't changed a lot, except for the tier 1. The Chinese tech tree is changed as well. And this is the French one. And then you might wonder, where have all my tanks gone? Well, the Scavenger and the Gravedigger were already blue. They were collectible tanks. You still have your premiums, your usual tanks, your elite tech tree tanks. But there's a new big bundle of tanks available in the game as well, and they are blue. And those are the collectible tanks. And you can see here already that some of the tanks have come from the tech tree, and some of the tanks are premium tanks that have been changed into collectible tanks. Collectible tanks can be buffed and nerfed. They are not premium tanks anymore, which in a way is annoying, because this one, the Großtraktor or the Panzer B2, they were in fact premium tanks and people have bought them with real money. But this tank, the DW2, is just a tech tree tank, or T150, just a tech tree tank. But they are collectibles, which means you can sell them for gold, and you get some credits as well if you have consumables on them. So my advice in that regard would be just to keep the tanks in the garage. This one, for example, as well, the KV13. If you sell that one, it's a tier 7 one, you get 1500 gold. And here's a quick overview of the gold prices per tier 4 collectible tanks. If you would have every single tier 2 to 4 premium tank in your garage, you would get 16,400 gold total in return. And if you would have all the collectible tanks, or the new collectible tanks, that is Tech 3 plus premium ones, you would get 28,750 gold. Big hefty sum. But yeah, worth another discussion. We'll get to that later on in a new video. Quickly looking back at the tech trees, I'm pleased to see Wargaming doing this, moving certain tanks around, changing the specs and the statistics as well, because some tanks are a tier lower, which means some of the stats had to be changed. And there are some strange things as well. I mean, the Hetzer loses the derp gun, and that's the same for the Stuck. It loses the derp. Sensible from the perspective of a new player, but a bit strange maybe from the perspective of the old hands. This is a good thing actually. The A20, proper seal clubbing tank, it loses its autoloader. And there's another change for new players, and that is the fact that they will be in a queue with bots and real players alike until they reach 5,000 battles. Once they reach 5,000 battles, they will be able to meet all kinds of players. Gone are the days of proper seal clubbing where someone with 40k battles done in all different tiers just drives his A20 around and then seal clubs the hell out of other players, of new players. That hopefully will keep more players into the game than before, because that's the main reason for Wargaming to change the tech trees, to make all these changes to the tanks. Righty, back to the German heavies. VK100.01 first, then the Mäuschen, and then the VK7201K. For a look at the armor profile in some gameplay done in training rooms together with Meaty69. Thank you very much, mate, for helping me out. There's a link in the description below and from the top right hand side corner as well to his video. If you're not a subscriber to Meaty already, please do so. He's a really nice guy and far better player than I am. Lovely little channel on there as well. He did help me out when we did a Comet Platoon, I think, ages ago, really ages ago. He was still making videos back then with just music on it, dance music, loud dance music, and now he's gone to making some really brilliant guides with commenting as well. And yeah, do subscribe to him if you haven't already. Great stuff. Back to this one, VK100.01. As you can see, it is a proper super heavy tank. It has its weak spots, obviously, but the armor, it's a true side scraping beast. I'm running the ISU 152 with a dead gunner, so we're shooting blind. But I'm running the ISU with a big gun because that BO10 is really nasty. But even from this angle, against that front plate, you can see it's not a sure guaranteed pen with AP. It will be a bit bouncy. There's some strange patches really on the whole armor, because the sides have that strange shape where it is less strong than the rest, than the side skirts. But not too sure why that is. But I think playing the tank in just those few one-on-one encounters in a training room, I think it's fair to say that this tank is one that relies on the armor to bounce shots, to soak up hits for your team so they can stay alive. You can't really count on your DPM. I'm putting a little bit of statistics of the most important ones straight up here. I was able to get the number of gun depression as well from the Blitz hanger, which is 8 degrees, and 8 degrees is really good, I think, for a tank this heavy. And having this gun, I mean, 460 alpha, 390 on APC, 800 on your HE shells, and if you get a full roll on HE, that's lovely. Hiding a cupola behind a building is advisable. And just keep side scraping in it, keep side scraping in it. You can see that you can pen those cheeks with APCR, but even then it's not a guaranteed pen with the gun you're using here. 273, that's good, that is a really good penetrating possibility for a tank this heavy. But against the bigger ones you will struggle. You see, you have some really small weak spots on the top of the turret as well, because of the shape. That turret roof is not flat, it is slightly angled. And there's a strange demarcation line between the front of the armor on the turret and the rear. And I've shown that on a little clip on Dynasty's Pearl before. But if you can get the tank held down like this and angle it up like this, that's a lot of red and pink and just all-round good armor. Don't over-angle, however, because you have got weak spots on the side, and you can see that right there. And yes, you can pen them. Righty, up to the next tank then, which is the little mouse, the Mäuschen. And that tank looks like this. Indeed, a very boxy tier 9 super heavy German tank, a little mouse. And this one relies again on angling, on thick armor. It seems to have 4 sets of tracks, as you can see. But as we were driving the tank, Meadsy and I, he was commenting on, right, oh yeah, okay, I can pen that. And then I did just this, the wiggling, and it bounced fairly easily. And it said, yeah, let's stay still there, just sit still, easy pen. Don't sit still in this tank, just keep it wiggling ever so slightly, just with little shots, and then people will bounce an awful lot of shots on you. If you allow them to penetrate, if you allow them easy shots, they will go through. You can hit back fairly hard, however. Because you've got a 128mm gun doing 460 alpha per shot again, and that means you can trade fairly effectively with other tanks as long as you can bounce the occasional shot. And like said, as with the VK100.01, this is a tank to go into a build-up area, side scrape to your heart's content, bounce shots, and once you've blocked a shot and you've wiggled one off, then you will move in, you will shoot at them, and then you will fire. We were looking at the turret again. It has that same strange demarcation line, really. It has the same strange patches of weak spots in terms of the side armor. But you can see the DPM monster that the SU-102-54 is, that will have real problems against the Mäuschen. The lower plate, that's an easy pen, no problem there. That machine gun port, it looks like it can be penned, but I wouldn't guarantee on it. It takes you a long time to properly aim in on that one, and I fired multiple shots at this one, and maybe in a bad case of RNG or me just being a muppet, the latter being the more obvious choice and the more probable choice, logical one as well. But still, it looks like a weak spot. It might just be something of a, yeah, decoration really. But as Meadsy was wiggling the Mäuschen, you could see there is those little patches of weak spots. I'm not too sure where the armor really goes, if it extends all the way up and where the tracks are. But if the tracks go up fairly high, and if they go up above that line, well, then maybe you will have a potential heat trap there, where you think, right, I can pen with heat and I can shoot through with heat, and then you're not able to do that. The cheeks are again fairly easy weak spots, and they, yeah, you will go through with AP on most of the tier 9 tank destroyers. But get the tank in a position like this where you can hide that lower plate and just show only this and wiggle around, and about it becomes pinkish and then red, etc, etc. And if you wiggle the turret while someone is aiming at you, even if you have the time to aim in, it's not a guaranteed pen. That would be with AP, but maybe not so with heat. If you then start to dance the little mouse, the Mäuschen around on top of mines, you can see this, and this was shot actually straight through the cupola. With AP, I was trying to shoot Meadsy through the hillside, that's what I was aiming for, but I missed that one. He was thinking, oh, yeah, I can paint your cupola again. I was thinking, no, I'm not going to do that. And we both realized it was a really big, massive tank. It's actually fairly maneuverable for a tank this size, to be honest. You have 25 kilometers in terms of top speed. That's not too bad for a tank this big and this well armored. And you can bounce shots if you keep angling it around, and it will be fun to have duels of motions on mines and on other positions as well. Right, VK 7201K. A whole different beast. Really a whole different beast. The VK is not as good at side scraping as the VK 100.01 are or the Mäuschen are. Those two tanks, tier 8 and 9, play more or less the same. But this one has a huge weak spot, or actually two of them. And Mäuschen is going to shoot straight into him. It's not me being stupid here. But there are patches of armor on your hull side which you can pan easily. There it is, straight through, and the ammo rack is just right behind it as well. Take a look at me in the Object 268. Same tanks, different perspective, lower plate you can go through. And here's at the weak spot. It's that little triangular plate on the left and the right hand side of the hull. And you can see once you start side scraping, there it is, you can go straight through. Even the turret ring, and of course it's more exposed because Mäuschen is on a slope and he is facing downwards. That's an obvious weak spot. This tank will excel if you can get it hull down. And that's not something you would expect from a tier 10 heavy tank in a German line with a 640 alpha gun. And as mentioned in the beginning, this gun is the same one as used on the E100. So you have heat for premium ammunition, but you also have a turret that is completely different. In terms of gun depression, it's 7. I wasn't able to find the gun depression numbers on the Mäuschen. I think it's about 6, 7 as well. 8 on the VK 100.01, 7 on this one, so 6 or 7 would be logical. But you've got a gun that does 640 alpha per shot, 560 on heat, good penetrating numbers, and you can see how it looks like if you can get it held down. And the amount of gun depression is just enough to make it work on ridges like that. But just don't overextend in terms of side scraping against other tier 10 heavy tanks or tank destroyers, because you will get shot in those cheeks on the hull, and the cheeks on your turret are vulnerable as well, especially against tanks with good penetrating numbers on heat or their premium ammunition. You have to think of this tank as a sort of streamlined VK 4502B hull with a lower turret and then an E100 gunner on it. And if you can get it hull down like this, where did that shot go? Jesus Christ. Okay, yeah, sorry buddy Leopard for because I bumped into you, but what the hell are you doing there? We're gonna play this game against two VK 7201Ks, and you can see he shot me straight up the front, and that's because I have been trying it out with Mäuschen a bit and I knew I had to stay hull down. That's why I'm backing off over here. I have a good front plate and he will have problems penetrating me as long as I can keep my lower plate hidden. Here we go again, I can shoot yours, there we go, and we can bounce another one I think. Oh, that one bounced on his plate as well, on his front plate. And this tank, the 7201K, actually has the same type of front plate as the, what's it? Oh yeah, that's a weak spot. Hello, weak spot. Lovely. This has the same type of frontal hull in a way like the Löwe. The front plate is angled, sloped backwards, and it kind of overlaps the real lower plate, the actual lower plate. And the funny thing with that one is you might think, right, I can pan that, but it seems like it's a little bit of spaced armor or something. I'm not quite sure actually. But The front of the hull, the real front of the hull, is a strange weak spot. There's the weak spot again, those triangles. We bounce a shot from the other VK, and now we can just sort of face hug him and then try to shoot him. I'm going for AP, as you can see, AP on those turret cheeks, no problem. There we go, thank you very much. And then trying to block his shot again, keeping the gun in front of him as well. And he misses, luckily, which means we are going to heat, and then I'm thinking, right, I have a very big one, let's switch to HE. Lovely little tank, lovely tier 10 heavy tank. I'm looking forward to driving this one in update 5.5. I hope you've liked the video, ladies and gentlemen, tankers of Blitz Universe. My name is Martindogger. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll catch you all on the next one. Cheers and happy tanking.